we will look at fractions and the big four operations, which is addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Now, surprisingly, when it comes to fraction, multiplication and division are easier than addition and subtraction. So we will start with looking at multiplication and division before we go into addition and subtraction. So how do we multiply fractions together? It's actually quite easy. There are only two steps. The first step is to multiply the numerator. Now remember, a numerator is the top numbers given a fraction. For example, 1 over 2. This one will be the numerator. So if we are given 2 over 5 multiplied by 3 over 7, what we do is to multiply the numerators together, and this shall give us the new answer for the numerator, which is 6. Now the second step here is to multiply the denominators, which is the bottom number, to get the denominator of the answer. So we get 5 multiplied by 7. In this case, we get 35. So 2 over 5 multiplied by 3 over 7 will be 6 over 35. Sometimes when you multiply fractions together, the end result can be reduced to the lowest terms, right? For example, if we have 4 over 5 multiplied by 7 over 8. So this is equivalent to the numerator multiplied by the numerator and the denominator multiplied by the denominator. So we will have 28 over 40. Now earlier on we looked at how to reduce the terms of the fractions. Now we see that 28 and 40 both can be divided by 2. So if we divide it by 2, we get 14 over 20. And again, 14 over 20 can be further divided by 2, and we will get 7 over 10. By now, 7 over 10 cannot be reduced further. So the original answer, 28 over 40, can be reduced to 7 over 10. That's all for multiplication. Next, we look at division. Before we look at division, there is still one more trick on multiplication. Sometimes when you are given a fraction, and if the numerator of one fraction and the denominator of the other are divisible by the same number, you can factor this number out before doing the multiplication. So let's have a look here. If we have 5 over 13 multiplied by 13 over 20. Now in this case, we can see that the numerator of one fraction here can be reduced with the denominator of the other fractions, right? So both of these can be divided by 13, and you will get 1 and 1. So this case here, effectively we have 5 times 1 over 1 times 20. Now that's not all. How about this numerator here with the denominator of this one here? Now this can be divided by 5. Okay, so if 5 divided by 5, we get 1, and 20 divided by 5, we get 4. So therefore the end result will be 1 times 1 we get 1, 1 times 4 we get 4. So straight away we can get to the lowest term of the answers. So that's all for multiplications. Now when we want to do division, it is as easy as doing multiplication. In fact, when you do division, what you will do is to turn the problem into multiplication. So to divide one fraction by another, multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second. Now what is a reciprocal? For example, if I give you 1 over 2, the reciprocal will be to flip this fraction, so you get 2 over 1. So that is the reciprocal. Okay. So let's look at one example. If I have 1 over 3 divided by 4 over 5. Now this is equivalent to 1 over 3 times the reciprocal of the second fraction, which is 5 over 4. By now you have the same problem. You have turned the division into multiplication, and you do the same. So it will be 1 times 5 over 3 times 4, and the answer will be 5 over 12. Now as with multiplication, sometimes your result can be reduced further. In this example, it cannot be reduced further. Let's say for example, if your answer is 6 over 12, this can be reduced to 1 over 2, right? So this term reduction is similar for both multiplication and division.